Good evening, everyone. This is Reading for Charity, getting back into this after a really extended break over Christmas. Um, Anyone who's been following the Facebook page knows that between work over Christmas and Christmas itself being really busy, my ability to actually do any of this has been seriously curtailed. That and the fact that I just had a series of books that I did not enjoy, did not like, and my enthusiasm completely plummeted. However, I am back on it. I'm back reading. I've never stopped actually reading. I just didn't do the reviews. So we're going to get all these reviews done. I've actually got 9 reviews lined up to go. So, here's the list of ones I'm going to try to get on tonight. Those three, and those three. So a variety. There's a lot of big books out the way that I got done over Christmas. Including War and Peace, which was 1,300, 1,400 pages or something, which is good to get out of the way. But I'm going to go through them, not necessarily in the order I read them, but in the order that they've come to hand, basically. So, going to start with, these are all going to be quite short, for the most part. Mostly because I didn't enjoy the majority of them, and there's not a lot I want to say about them. And partially because I'm struggling to remember some of them in places. They made very little impression on me. But to begin with, Kushiel's Dart, which I've just noticed has sticky rings on it. I'm not entirely sure how that happened, but hey. Kushiel's Dart. This is supposed to be the fantasy equivalent to 50 Shades of Grey. In that it's basically just straight up porn, but they've tried to wrap a story around it as well. And yes, they kind of have done. I'm not entirely sure I would describe it as the fantasy version of 50 Shades of Grey. I think I would describe it more as Game of Thrones taking to its logical conclusion. So it's got all the fantasy elements surrounding it. It's got the intrigue, it's got the court, it's got mildly fantastical elements once you start including the angels, I can't remember what they're called, the Terre d'Ange angels. Once you start including those, you've got slightly fantastical elements in there. And you have essentially, Game of Thrones in a very, restricted to a single city. So you've not got much in the way of, armies clashing and stuff, but it's much more, intrigue and plotting and, people trying to overthrow the king, mixed in with sexy time. And the and that's where the book actually genuinely falls down. So the plot to the plot on the throne that is basically the underlying theme of the book, the underlying story of the book, is not bad. It's quite good. It's if you've read enough fantasy, if you've read enough even Game of Thrones, you've seen plots like this before. You kind of know the beats, you kind of know how it's going to happen, and you kind of can see what's going on. The plot of the book didn't throw up any surprises whatsoever. It was good, but relatively by the numbers, in my opinion. Kind of seen it all before. But nicely written. The characters were interesting. I really liked the Deloney. He was an excellent character. I thought he was really well written. He actually reminded me a little bit of the Greek debauchery novel with the students in the northeast of England, which name I've forgotten. The Secret History. The Secret History, that was the one. He actually reminded me of the lecturer in The Secret History somewhat. In a good way, because I think he was the best character in that one as well. So it was in the actual plot itself wasn't bad. It wasn't earth-breaking. It's definitely not the it's definitely, I don't think, worth the praise that's been lavished on it, because there's a heap of names in this book who go, oh, this is amazing, it's fantastic, it's superb. It's even got Robert Jordan on the cover, and he doesn't usually, he's not such a quote tart, I think is the right way to put it. I know the inside Piers Anthony has also commented, and Piers Anthony is one of my favourite authors. So, you know, there's high praise for this book, but I'm not entirely sure I think it's justified. And part of the reason for that is the porn elements in it, which are pointless for the most part. It serves the story very little, although outside of just straight up titillation. The character, the whole idea of Phaedre. I'm not sure how to pronounce the name. I'm going to pronounce her Phaedre because that's pretty much how I've been thinking about it in my head. Her character being, the perfect person for pain to be inflicted upon. The second that happened, the second the dart in her eye was discovered, I was kind of like, yeah, okay, see where this is going. It's just, there's that's the excuse for it. You're destined to be the perfect conduit of pain. Therefore, hey, lots of pain for you. Yeah, it doesn't work in my eyes. There's no rhyme nor reason for it other than, you're just kind of throwing in the character for it. It's like the opposite of the 50 Shades of Grey, in that in 50 Shades of Grey, where I thought that the BDSM elements were important because it opened the conversation towards what was good, bad, and what people thought they understood from the novel, and actually what the BDSM community wanted them to understand from it. I thought it ended up being quite valuable. Now, with Kushiel's Dart, I don't think that element is in there. I think it is just bad BDSM. I think people, I don't think it opens the conversation for people, and I don't think that the elements of her basically just experiencing pain for pain's sake is necessary or valid. I don't think it's good. In the same way that 50 Shades of Grey was bad, but it was important and it was good to have the conversation that it sparked. Kushiel's Dart has the same problems in that it's just straight up BDSM for literally no reason other than that she is destined to have pain. And I think that makes it bad BDSM. I think that misses the point of why people have that as their particular their fetish. Is that the right word? I don't know. Maybe. Showing my own ignorance there. Yeah, I think there's the good elements of the book is the plotting and the characterization, which are nice, let down by just titillation for titillation's sake. I suspect though that if Jacqueline Carey had written the book without the BDSM elements, if it had been just written as a courtly intrigue novel, I'm not sure this would have been published. I mean, it's nice and it's decent, but it is very by the numbers. And in a market that's awash with similar books, I mean, it obviously needed that edge to actually get it through and get published, and that's the edge it got through this. But no, I'm not sure. I'm not sure at all. Should you read this book? Should you go away and read Kushiel's Dart? Honestly, nah, not really. If you want the sexy time stuff, go read Game of Thrones. Go watch Game of Thrones. Go turn on Pornhub. That's far more realistic for what are you looking for. And as a fantasy novel, it's nothing that you've never seen before. I don't think, really, honestly. Go read Game of Thrones. It's far superior. That's really what it comes down to. Don't bother with this novel. Really, don't bother with it. Okay, so that's review 1 of 9 out of the way. I'm going to see how many I can get done tonight. Next up will be Possession by A.S. Bryant, which will be in roughly 20 seconds time once I change the stream title, stop and start the recording. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for listening. See you in 20 seconds.